Hello. It's been, it feels like forever. I'm so far behind. I needed to kind of catch up a little bit. Now, I'm going to go through these journals today, and most of these have been done since before Christmas. I've got 4 to share today, but I think there are another 10 that I still need to kind of work out and finish off, really. But they kind of need to be sorted. So I'm going to share 4 that are finished today. They are all roughly this kind of size. This one, that's not a good ruler. This one is about 11 inches by kind of 7.5-ish. And I'm calling these destash journals because they are literally, I'm trying to use things up. So that's what this is. So these 4 have a tassel with various threads and a charm. This is this one. So it's got the charm and the tassel with all the fibres. Now, obviously you can take these apart and use those if you wish. They have a simple sari silk closure. Again, destash, trying to use things up that I have. I'll go through the little pouches first, I think. So these 4 all have a very similar pouch. I'm just trying to check the light. It's kind of dark here today. It's not a nice day. So there's a little clip with a tiny little tag and a charm on there. In the back pocket. So in the back pocket, there's a couple of little tabs. There's a specimen slide, there's a scrapbooking tag and a vintage postcard, as well as a flashcard. So there's some little tabs there. They go in the back. And then in the next section, we have a little embossed frame, a little tab pocket. There's a little envelope and a little punch. Some little ephemera, another vintage postcard, another little tag, a file folder, an index card, and a little coin specimen thing. And then in here, the third one, we've got some ticket shapes, tag, little fancy shape, another little tag, a little cut cat, a little tiny one of those, some more little pieces of ephemera, a playing card, and another piece of ephemera. So they go in that one. I'll quickly put these back. And then on the front here, we've got a tiny little clip, and there's a little tiny tea bag with some vintage stamps in there. And then there's another little piece of ephemera just clipped on with a tiny paper clip. And then on the back here, we've got one of these Portuguese vintage envelopes. And there's a little guest check and also a couple of little die cuts in a glassine little envelope bag there. So that is the little pouch, which obviously all of these bits and pieces can be used inside the journal. So it's a coil bound journal. Anybody who uses these knows that they're not always perfect. This top one has a tiny little flat spot on it, but the closure is perfectly good. This book is called The Outline of Art. Now these 4 have some sewn scrapbook paper pockets in, vintage book pages, vintage lined note paper, more vintage book pages. This is cartridge paper. Another book page, vintage diary page, tea-dyed paper, stamp album paper, some invoices, more book pages, a really vintage diary pages, more cartridge paper, another vintage ledger. All of these pages can be taken out and used in something else, or you can use this as a journal. It's literally a kind of stock album, if you like. Some typewriter book. There's another pocket here sewn. So that's that. There's a vintage envelope with plenty of space to put things in there. There's a little pocket here that I've sewn vintage children's book pages. Lots and lots of vintage stuff and book pages. I think the cartridge paper is pretty much the only newer paper in here. This is from a vintage notebook paper, little pocket here from a stamp album, invoice paper, more vintage note paper. That's vintage note paper as well. We've got a huge envelope, lined, loads and loads and loads of room. Another pocket, loads of room for writing or adding things. A nice ledger paper here that's been added. More book page, vintage. It's all, you know, it's all really pretty, but very plain. So you can do lots and lots with this if you wanted. The options are there. Little divider card, vintage maps, birds. Ooh, it's been so long since I've been through these, actually. I've forgotten what's in them. Lots of, again, more vintage papers, invoices, more of that old, really old from 1909. I think the other one might have been 1800s. A tea card page from a book. I think they all have one of those in there. And that's the back. So there is a huge selection of pages in here. So that goes on the front and this ties closed. So, I mean, you could use the sari silk as the closure, or you can add it to make some little tabs, to edge some pages. You can do all sorts with that. It's like I said, it's kind of like a flow journal, I suppose. You could use this for all sorts of things. So that's the first one. So this is the second book. This one is more of blues. It's a fairy tale book. So there's the charms and the tassel. That's on this book. We've got blue sari silk for the closure on this one. These are going to be very similar. Obviously the flashcards and things might be slightly different, but it's the same things in the pouch, and this is a sewn pouch. So this is my giant fairy tale book, and it is approximately just under 11 inches by 7.5 inches. So it's really, really pretty cover. I love this book. I've been hoarding this book for a few years now. So again, we've got some sewn pockets, book pages. It's all the same things in this book as the previous one. Obviously the book pages are going to vary, but there are the same amount. There's just, I think there's over 90 pages in these first 4 books. So lots and lots in here. Similar, very similar. That's another one of the little sewn pockets. Lots and lots of vintage papers, vintage book pages, ledgers and things. So big envelope again. Here's the third sewn pocket, and that's the back of this one. So like I said, they all have the same pages in, from the same books, the same amount. They might just vary very slightly in terms of the picture, as you would expect. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what's in here. This one is the third. So let me show you the tassel first of all. More reds and purples in here. Got some really nice banana yarn, and some reds and purples on the charm. Got a red sari silk closure. Here's your sewn pouch. And this was a kind of a housekeeping book. So it's really quirky pictures on the front and back cover. But again, we've got the pockets. Oh, let me do the measuring actually. This one is 9.5 by 7. So music paper, book pages, vintage ledgers, vintage diary papers, vintage maps, vintage book pages, all of the same things again. Vintage envelope, that's another one of the little sewn pockets. Lots and lots going on in these books. Like I said, there's over 90 pages. That's the last sewn pocket. Cute little children's book page. Vintage maps again. I mean, you can see I made a bit of a mistake there. I punched both sides of that sheet of paper, but I like the holes, so that stayed. And there's the back. So that's that one. And finally, this is the pouch for this one. The tassel, we've got some pearly kind of beads on here, neutral colours. Brownie red for the closure, and this one is called Favourite Fairy Tales. And let's do the size. It's just under 10 inches by 7 inches. So again, we've got the little pocket, all the same kind of pages. Another little sewn pocket, music papers, ledgers, all the same. Lots and lots going on. There's another one of those sewn pockets and a sewn pocket here. And this one has also got in a little book page pocket. I think the others were wide enough for me to use the book page as a book page, but this one, it was a little bit narrower. Vintage maps, lots and lots of stuff. We've got one of those giant envelopes, stamp page pocket. And that is the final one of this size. These all have a similar pouch. They all are a similar size. So that's why these 4 are in the first batch. These will be in the Etsy shop. There has been a huge issue, as many of you probably know, with UK shipping international post. It's been coming in, but shipping out is very difficult, and even now we can only ship if we track and sign and if we actually print our own postage labels. There's no other option for us here in the UK at the moment. So it's also a lot more difficult now to work out the cost of shipping. So I will get the shipping worked out for these, and they will be in my Etsy shop. But I also have this box here that I do need to finish and get those ready for the shop. So there are going to be more coming, but we also have to get the rag sorted out. That's really late. So I need to work on that and get that ready to go out. So make sure you're signed up to our mailing list if you would like the rag when we finally get it done. But that's the beauty of now offering it for free. You know, I don't feel too guilty having to put it back a couple of weeks. I will be carrying on. I'm still probably not quite there yet to film finishing off the casebook journal, but I'll get that done, I promise. I just need to get myself sorted out. It's just the energy levels. Anyway, I won't go on about being ill because that's pants, isn't it? I hope you have all been okay, and I will be back fairly soon, and these will be in the Etsy shop by the time the video goes live. So thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you soon. Bye.